True Grit, 1968, by renowned Western author Charles Portis, became an instant bestseller, inspiring a 1969 film starring John Wayne and a 2010 Academy Award-winning adaptation directed by the Coen brothers. The audiobook was narrated by acclaimed author Donna Tartt in 2006. Portis is also famous for his first novel, Norwood, 1966, which follows a young man of the same name on quirky adventures in New York before returning to his home in Texas. Portis has earned praise for blending comedy with the traditional Western genre. In True Grit, his characters are deeply flawed, portrayed with deadpan humor. His themes revolve around loyalty to family and friends, the power of perseverance, and respect for justice. The novel's straightforward, no-frills style mirrors the Western genre, but is filled with unexpected twists, making it a true American classic. The story is told in the first person by Mattie Ross, who looks back on her 14th year when her father, Frank Ross, was murdered by a cowardly man named Tom Chaney. Seeking revenge, Mattie leaves her hometown in Arkansas to track down and kill Chaney. She hires the most ruthless U.S. Marshal she can find, Marshal Rooster Cogburn, to help her. Along with a Texas Ranger named LaBoeuf, the trio tracks Chaney into the sparsely populated Indian American territories. At the time of the narrative, Mattie is an older, unmarried woman, respected by her community for her intelligence and independence. The events she recounts take place in the last quarter of the 19th century, around 1885. Mattie recalls that Chaney, a farmhand on her family's farm, was terrible at his work, and her father hired him out of pity. She openly calls him white trash to his face. One day, Frank and Chaney travel to Fort Smith, 70 miles away, to buy a horse. Frank spends $150 on the horse, having saved money thanks to Mattie's advice. On the way back, Chaney squanders his earnings on drinking and gambling. He tells Frank he'll recover his losses by force, but Frank tries to stop him, knowing it will only end badly. In a tragic turn, Chaney shoots Frank and steals the $150 and 2 gold pieces Frank always carried. Mattie travels to Fort Smith to arrange her father's funeral and pursue her father's killer. Realizing she might need help from government officials to catch Chaney, Mattie seeks out the toughest one in town, Rooster Cogburn. Despite his tendency to drink heavily and his readiness to draw his pistol at any provocation, Mattie believes Rooster has the true grit necessary for the job. A former Confederate soldier, Cogburn agrees to help after Mattie offers to pay him. Along the way, they encounter LaBoeuf, a Texas Ranger on Chaney's trail for the murder of a state senator and his dog. LaBoeuf will earn a reward for bringing Chaney in, dead or alive. The two men initially clash, but their shared goal forces them to work together. Cogburn is older, rougher around the edges, and dismissive of the Rangers, while LaBoeuf is young, proud, and well-groomed. Despite their differences, the two men eventually recognize that each possesses valuable skills or knowledge that could lead them to Chaney. They try to ditch Mattie multiple times, but she always manages to find her way back. At one point, LaBoeuf even goes as far as to spank Mattie. Eventually, Cogburn comes to see that Mattie has proven her determination and toughness, allowing her to continue their pursuit of Chaney through the Choctaw Nation, modern-day Oklahoma. In Fort Smith, they ask around, hoping someone has seen a man with a distinctive dark mark on his face, a scar Chaney got from a gunshot wound that left gunpowder lodged in his skin. The trio eventually learns that Chaney has joined an outlaw gang led by Lucky Ned Pepper. They also discover that Pepper plans to rob a train, and Chaney will be with him. They learn the route he'll take with the loot. Hiding out in a hut, the trio watches as Pepper and his gang approach. LaBoeuf prematurely shoots at Pepper, hitting his horse instead of Pepper himself, allowing the gang to escape. The group chases them to Pepper's stronghold in the Winding Stairs Mountains. One night, as they camp among the rocky terrain, Mattie ventures out in search of water and unexpectedly runs straight into Chaney. She demands that he come with her, but he laughs. She shoots him in the side, but it doesn't stop him from overpowering her. At that moment, LaBoeuf and Cogburn arrive, but so do Pepper and his gang. The outlaws agree not to harm Mattie if the two officials leave. After some deliberation, Cogburn and LaBoeuf agree to go. Pepper and his gang move on, telling Chaney to take Mattie to safety after sunset, but instead, Chaney attempts to throw her into a snake pit. Just as he's about to do so, LaBoeuf arrives to rescue her. Meanwhile, Cogburn has cut off the gang's escape route, leading to a violent shootout. Lucky Ned Pepper and his gang are killed. While LaBoeuf celebrates capturing Chaney, the outlaw strikes him with a giant rock. Mattie, using her father's Colt's Dragoon, shoots Chaney in the head, but the ricochet throws her into the snake pit. As Chaney mocks her fate, Cogburn appears and crushes his head with a rock. LaBoeuf recovers and helps Cogburn throw Chaney into the pit, but the body lands on a skeleton surrounded by sleeping snakes. The snakes attack, biting Mattie before Cogburn and LaBoeuf can rescue her. Her left arm is severely bitten, and despite their efforts to get her to the hospital, it must be amputated. The story shifts to 50 years later, where Mattie has become a successful businesswoman. She never saw Cogburn again, and when she attempted to visit him, she learned he had passed away just days earlier. She never saw LaBoeuf again either, but hopes that, through reading her story, he might reconnect with her. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.